Well, happy spring, everybody. It is almost mid-April here, and we have had an extremely warm winter, and now we're in a snowstorm. Barely snowed at all this year, and it looks like we might get 3 to 5 inches today. It's crazy. I mean, absolutely crazy. My hopes for an early spring have pretty much died at this point. You can see the peach is starting to bloom, and it's actually a bad thing because tonight's low is supposed to be 22 degrees. So not only frost, but we actually have to worry about a hard freeze tonight. So you can actually see a little bit of ice is still on the bird feeder there, or the bird bath. So it sucks. But, you know, thank God for the greenhouse. At least we can get some of the figs started early. And let's take a ride into, or walk into here and see what's going on. Alright, so I haven't shown the greenhouse in a while. Let me turn the fan off 1 second. Alright, that's better. A lot quieter in here now. So, you can see everything in the greenhouse has leafed out since my last video. If we look at the thermometer, it's just under 60 degrees in here and about 35 degrees outside. And you can see just about everything's leafed out. It's doing real well. My big black Madeira is leafed out and has a head start in the season. My black Madeira UC Davis is actually looking better than it has in the last few years. Still looks terrible, but better than it has. And I've just got fig trees as far as the eye can see in here, as many as I can fit. And then I'm also growing some other things. You see down here I've got some sunflowers on the left, and then some, holy cow, the name's escaping me right now. Jeez, I can't, marigolds, thank you, marigolds. And then on the right are some zinnia flowers. And then up here I've got some hollyhocks, some alyssum, and some more zinnia flowers that someone on the forum was nice enough to trade with me for, or actually give me, and then I of course sent some fig cuttings back to her. Hopefully she's enjoying them as much as I am these zinnia seeds. And then down below there's the Isbat Anaj fig that I got recently. It's getting used to the sunlight out here, so I'm keeping it shaded. And then right behind it are some pumpkins we planted in the Easter egg carton that we had left over, so I gotta actually move them into the sun, but I'm running out of room in here. My black Acacia UC Davis is actually growing pretty nice. It had a couple leaves on it last fall and sort of stayed there just like that, but you can see it's putting out some new growth. Really hoping that takes off. It's a real rare fig tree. There's not a lot of people that have it anymore. And then we got some more zinnias, some beets that my wife started, and even more zinnias in the back. So one thing to point out here, if you look in the back are some of the trees that I overwintered in the greenhouse, and they did fine up until we got a hard freeze while I was on vacation in February, and it actually killed the top half of those trees. So you can see, if we look at this one here, this is the Just Fruits and Exotics Black Madeira knot, and you can see it's dead all the way down to right about there. See the leaf coming out? So it survived, but it definitely took a toll. And it's funny because it survived most of the cold weather we had, but that one day where it got 0 degrees out was just too much. The greenhouse heater couldn't keep up. And to the right of it is, I believe, my one of my 2 Italian 258s. And you can see, I'm glad to see that that's greening up at the base, because the top of it, the leaves you're seeing are from other plants. The top of it actually died. So, you know, probably 6 to 8 feet of growth is killed off. I was hoping to make a couple air layers off the top and trade with some people or share, and not so lucky. My one over here, ignore the dead plant, that was a Brumsfelsia that apparently could not take the cold. And then to the right of that is a Genovese Nero. The Genovese Nero has a big debate going on because there's two strains going around. One's referred to as the Rob's Genovese Nero, and the other one is referred to as the Genovese Nero Raphael, or Rafed. But I prefer to call them the Genovese Nero Rob's, or Rob's Genovese Nero Not, and then the other one, Genovese Nero Adriano. But you can see this one died back as well. This is another rare tree, so I'm a little bit upset. But there is some growth at the bottom, so it's still alive. It'll regrow from that base. It's just another 6 foot or so of that tree that didn't make it, so my ability to take some air layers and give away to some other folks, unfortunately, is shot for this year. I'll have to wait for it to regrow. But other than that, everything's going well, and you can see some of the trees are actually putting out brebas. Let's see if I can see this one here. This is a Black Madeira breba, and every year Black Madeira puts out some of these brebas, and every year it drops them. So they'll hold on for a few more weeks, and then they will drop. One that won't drop, or at least not drop all of them, is my green Ischia. So let me see if I can find some of the breba crop on here. I know there was a whole bunch earlier. Oh, maybe it did drop them. Because I do... Oh, there's one. So it looks like it did drop a lot of them, but if I move in closer here, you can see that there are still at least a couple breba hanging on. I had a breba off this last year. It wasn't bad. It is not exactly known for its breba, but it was actually loaded. It had quite a few breba on it, and now I don't see more than just one or two. Well, it happens, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. On most varieties, the breba crop is not as tasty as some of the larger, or the main crop, so if you leave the breba crop on, the main crop takes a little bit longer to ripen in my experience, so pulling them off or having them drop, it's really not a big deal. And you can see I moved some of my young figs out here. I have them on a heat mat. Seem to be doing pretty well. There's some of these rare varieties that just refuse to spit out some buds. They've got roots. There's a little bit of top part that's died here, as you can see in this guy, but they should be okay. So let's see what we have here. We've got a Brogiotto Bianco here that you can see has spit out some of its leaves, and it's going. And then to the right, there's one that's about to finally bud out, or leaf out, and that is a Pota de Caval. So that'll be a new variety for me. And then if we come over this way, I don't remember the full name of this. I've got it labeled Larg, double L-A-R-G. I know the full name is longer than that. I'll have to look it up and update my tag at some point, but that one's doing real well. And the Col de Dama Ramada behind it is finally greening up on the bud and looking to put out its first set of leaves. So it's hard for me to get a focus on it. There we go. But you can see that bud's starting to peek out there, so that's exciting. Well, and other than that, everything seems to be going pretty well. Just can't believe that it is snowing, and it's snowing hard. So it's been one of those years that, you know, catches you off guard. I had 2 fig trees moved outside. I'll take a quick video of those. They've died back twice now. They keep sending out shoots in between storms or in between cold fronts, and we'll see what happens. I think they'll shoot back from the roots if the top growth dies, but we will see. And then one more fig tree to check out over here that I'm excited about is my Martenica ramata. And you can see that's growing nicely, and hopefully I'll get to taste at least a fruit off of it this year, maybe late fall, or at least be able to see that it's true to name when it spits out a fig, because the fig should be ripe or striped, and as it ripens those stripes should fade and it should turn red. So it's one of the trees I'm real excited about, and I've got a couple in my office still inside that I'm excited about, but I'll have to share those in a different video. Alright, so one more thing I wanted to try today. We have this cold front coming through. It's supposed to get real chilly tonight. And all this is a tin pan with a piece of fire starter. And I've got some of those 3-hour fire logs, and I'm curious if it'll start to heat the greenhouse a little bit. I don't want to use a lot. I don't want to, suck all the oxygen out of the greenhouse, although I think it's got enough, gaps and air vents in here where I'm not too worried about it. I don't want to necessarily be in the greenhouse with this going, because there probably will be some carbon monoxide put out of it. I'm not sure. But I did want to light this and just see the difference of how long this fire starter lasts versus how long those fire logs last. Because my hope is that it can add just a few degrees to the greenhouse in temperature over, a few hours' time. So I'm going to get that going. And then what I'm going to do is go check out those other trees outside and come back and just see how this thing's going. Alright, so here's one of the trees that I had outside. And you can see the limbs are definitely still alive. They have not died yet. I won't say that they're in the best of shape. It did actually have green buds and leaves starting to pop out until one of the last cold fronts came through. And if you look down below, it actually had some leaves recently popping out of the root system. And most of these, with the last night's below freezing temperatures and tonight's freezing temperatures, will die. But this Canadria, it's an early fig, and I'm interested to see if it will actually be able to be somewhat cold hardy. So this is kind of an intermittent test. I didn't leave it out all winter, but I left it out for part of it here in the spring to see kind of how it reacts. And the same with this Neri 2. This Neri 2 fig ripens every year on the exact week we're on vacation. We take vacation the same week in August every year, and every year, every one of its figs ripens within that week. It's not like most of my trees. Most of my trees will ripen slowly over the course of a month or two, but this one ripens every fig within about a week. So we've only tasted a few of them, and we usually come back to a mess. So, still alive. I can see some of the buds still look pretty decent on it, but, we'll have to see what happens and how long it takes to recover. Alright, so back in the greenhouse now, and you can see this fire starter is definitely burning. And it's been about 10 minutes, maybe a little bit less. So my guess is this will last, I don't know, maybe half an hour, this little piece, so it's not going to last real long. I think the question becomes, is it going to put out heat? And I can feel it. I mean, it's definitely putting out some significant heat. It's not going to be enough to warm the greenhouse all night, but maybe it's enough to give a little boost to the greenhouse if I space it out, if I put a few in here, and enough to raise it just a few degrees to keep that chill off tonight. Because if it gets down to 20 degrees, I have 2 heaters in here right now, and each one raises the temperature about 10 degrees. So at most, I'm going to be looking at about 40 degrees in here, and it's a little colder than I'd really like to keep it with everything leafing out. Especially some of the flowers we've got, and even, the hanging basket we've got in here. I'd like to keep it around 50. So, I might try to do this tonight. This is just a fire starter. Kind of wanted to see how it worked in the greenhouse to begin with before I brought in the fire log. I've used the fire logs in the chimneys before. I can't use a whole one, but if I take a piece about this size, it should burn for half an hour. And even this is going to last for a lot longer than I thought it would. I thought this would go up pretty quick. So, it's positive. I don't want to get too carried away here. I don't want to burn the greenhouse down. So, alright, this is PA Figs, and I hope to see you on warmer days.